Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Adopting Teens and Tweens Show. I'm your host, Denise Royal. The Adopting Teens and Tweens Show is a program dedicated to educating you, the public, about getting youth, teens, and young adults into homes before they age out of the foster care system. My guest today is Michael Sullivan, age 16.
Hello,
Michael, hi, welcome, and thank you for being with us today.
it's my pleasure.
So, since this is a show all about older youth and care, I take it you have something to do with foster care. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was in. Right now. I'm still in foster care.
Okay.
Um, but on April 14th, coming up, I will be getting adopted.
Yay! That's wonderful
Um,
news.
Even though it took a very long time, like about estimate time, it took 2 years because you know how it's all slow and stuff. The process is very slow, but that's usual paperwork and all that is usual. But it is slow, and what what the problem is that it's I have a mom. My mom's name is Valerie Gerker. She took me in when I was in a group home, and I was in a group home. I was like, I think I was 14 in
Okay.
a group home, and I got told that there was this Dave and Buster's thing down in Times Square. So I was there. I was like, all right. So, I got there. I got a card, David Buster's card with a bunch of coins on it. And
Okay.
the first thing I went to was a jewelry um, thing where you swipe and you just try to get your jewelry. And out of
Oh, one of
nowhere,
those big claw
yeah, the big
machines.
claws,
Okay.
it's extremely hard. So then, next thing you know, here comes Miss Gurka, and she's playing it on the other machine too. So I'm like, So it's a meet and greet. Extremely fun. You're supposed to have fun there, but
Okay.
it's also for uh teens and kids my age to meet family, and that's what I did. I met someone like Valerie Gurka, my adopted mom that's about to adopt me at April 14th, 2016.
So the day you met her, you're like, oh, this is it? This is the lady?
I was
Or
I
how
was
did the
hoping that
process go?
the process went was first I had slowly by slowly I had to get into I had to move slow. So basically, the process was slow. First, they made me do day visits at the group home. Then they made me do um, weekend visits, but they had to check the house first to make sure all safety plans are in check. And that's all. That's what that they got you to do that because it's all have to make sure the child is safe. So they did that, and it's extremely like I was like, oh my gosh, can you just get the paperwork done and adopt me? Let's go. But I realized after time, my growth and my knowledge made me understand that you know what, I have to wait and let them handle it and let me just stand by
So it was
and
a
wait.
little frustrating to begin
Yeah, a little
with.
bit frustrating, but
Okay.
after time I got over it, and
Okay.
that's what made me grow up as it is. I had to wait for things, and that's part of life.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the things maybe that you're doing now that you're involved in. And yeah, and then we'll go back to a few other things later.
Right now, I'm actually involved in a law enforcement explorers program with the NYPD department.
Great.
The reason why is because there they teach you a lot of uh, this discipline. They also teach you about the law, and we're like little cops. We're mini cops,
Mini cops, huh?
and but at the same time, this is training, and there's always a youth officer, and NYPD tries to teach us for us to grow up as them to become maybe if you want to do military or like U.S. Marshals or detective or you know anything you want to be that is part of law enforcement. That's a program for kids my age.
So were you doing these kind of programs when you were in the group home?
Extremely no. The reason why is because the group home would never let me out.
So it's really being in your mom's home
Being
that
there.
you've been able to do
Yes.
things. And what
'Cause
does she think about you being a mini cop?
she she thinks actually it's actually great. She actually likes the program. She also, there was a school I was in at the group home, and it wasn't the type of school that I should have been in. So
Okay.
we worked so hard, and we found a school. The school is the Lord's School, and I am there till this day in high school. And there's wonderful staff there. They're supportive. They help me do my work, and also they make me grow every day. So, and Valerie put her heart into it to help me get a school like that.
So your mom really advocated
She advocated
to
for
find
the
the
school.
best.
Yeah, even though that's not where the Board of Education wanted to put me in, but that's where I was there.
So mom was very helpful.
Yeah,
and
she was helpful, and she put her hard work into it. And the school just when we got the interview for the school was like, come in tomorrow, because they had an extra seat open.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other things she's been able to advocate for you?
She advocates a lot of things. She advocates me being helping YGB out.
Okay.
She
So let's talk about that a little bit. What are some of the things you've been doing with You Gotta Believe?
With You Gotta Believe?
Now that you're advocating.
Well,
You've become a believer.
with You Gotta Believe, I can't say nothing else. I can't say nothing better, because You Gotta Believe is the best, and I like You Gotta Believe, and that's why every time you guys need my help, I'm always back there helping you guys. What I do is I actually speak for you guys in classes that you guys need. I do events with you guys. I support you guys. I'm a public speaker, and it's like,
What are the things you're speaking about? What are
my
you?
life, like my childhood, I would say. My childhood until my teenagehood, I would say.
And how do you think talking to the different classes or speaking at an event, how do you think that helps? What does that give the people that are
That
listening?
gives the people what we had, what was the word?
What you've gone
Their
through?
experience of what we gone through, to tell them that what you guys are going to go through might be a little bit hard, but it's going to help a teenage kid get a family, to make sure that they're loved and supported, and teenage kids needs care, love and care too,
Yes, they do.
and understand babies obviously are cute, but it's also teenage kids needs homes too, and people to be there to support them and love them every day, and make sure that they have a heart, that if they need help, or like they need help with this or that, they don't have to rely on other people that they don't know. They could rely on the family that that bringing it into their lives, their house, and putting food on the table, their clothes,
Michael, did you always have hope that you would find a family, or had you given up hope?
I actually never thought, like, I was 15 and I was like, when am I getting adopted? Is it gonna be when it's like I'm 18 or 21 and I'm gonna just get adopted then, and then guess what? I'll be an adult then, so who would? But now I know that, no, so I let it happen, and now April 16th,
14.
April 14th, 2016 will be the adoption date for me.
You excited?
I'm extremely excited, and
We're going to talk about some changes that'll be made to you specifically when we come back. But first, we're going to cut to this wonderful public service announcement about adopting older youth, produced by the Ad Council.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And welcome back. We are talking with my guest, Michael, who's age 16. And just before the break, we started to talk about things that are going to change once you are legally adopted. Now, let's start with the thing that catches a lot of parents off. Are you changing your name?
Well, of course I am.
Of course you are.
Of course.
But are you changing your name the way people think you're going to be changing your name? Are you taking your mom's last name?
No, I will not. I'm changing my whole name.
You're changing your whole name?
Yes, I am.
What's that about?
It's just a different style of my name. Like, I want to change the way I am. My name will change who I am.
Okay. So
Maybe I'll, yeah.
so what are, instead of Michael, what are we going to be calling you?
Well, my completely full name will be Trey Michael Smith. But Michael will actually be silent because I don't like the name Michael. But at the same time, Trey Michael Smith.
But your adoptive mom, her last name isn't Smith. No?
No.
Okay. Well, so what did she think about that when you said, I'm not going to
Well,
keep my name, I'm not going to change to yours?
She actually said herself that she said that she wouldn't even want me to have her last name due to that. It sounds kind of weird. So when I heard that, I was like, no, I was not trying to be rude, but I'm just saying that it is kind of weird. But she was like, oh, stop pulling my leg. I was like, so.
So that's great, though.
Yeah.
So you had complete control over what your name's going to be.
Yeah.
And what are you, do you see this opportunity as like a new beginning, a fresh start?
Well, yes, I do. The reason why I think I'm going to be it's going to start fresh is because I just think that it's going to freshen me up even more. And that it's just good. It's going to make me be different to me. That's how I think of the name of what it will be instead of now. Because right now my name is Michael Sullivan, but it's going to be Trey Michael Smith. So.
Okay, Trey. So what are some of the things that you're looking forward to? What does getting adopted, what's the biggest benefit you see to that?
Number one, not having caseworkers come to my house a lot.
Oh.
Having a little bit more like I'm back home, like back dealing with doing stuff with my own life that I don't have to have like the state run with.
Great.
Things that I don't have to get, that the state provides me with that I could just, handle on the own. I'm becoming older, so I have to, do what older people kind of get.
Okay.
Like do in their life experience.
Okay. Is there a goal you're working towards?
Well,
you mentioned being part of the
NYPD.
mini cops, but
The
is
NYPD
that
Law
something you're
Law
interested in?
Enforcement Explorers Program. Yes, growing up, I was thinking of being a bouncer. That just came to my mind due to that it has a little bit to do with security and law enforcement. But the one thing I do like is maybe like the parole officers. Maybe doing that instead of like being a cop, and going through, a lot of, obviously you have to be a certain thing to be a cop and certain this. Maybe a parole officer or like U.S. Marshal or DEA. It doesn't, I just want to become something with the law, and we're thinking of moving out to Texas soon.
Okay.
Texas is a nice, extremely good area.
Had you ever been to Texas before?
Yes, I've
you-
been, not before I was with Valerie.
Oh, okay. So it's a whole new
'Cause
place
a
for
whole
you.
new place. And the first time I stepped out there was actually on a winter. Went there during a winter, and all it did was had a little bit clouds and warm. So it was like it was 80 degrees and cloudy.
While back here in New York, it was
While back
freezing.
here was boots, heavy jacket, gloves, mittens, hat.
Okay.
It was actually, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in the Bahamas.
So you're actually looking into a fresh start all the way around.
Yeah,
New name, new
New
location,
location.
new mom.
yeah.
Fabulous. So I know you're really great at sharing advice or giving advice.
You want me to give a little
because,
bit now?
because you come and you speak to some of the You Gotta Believe classes, especially in our introductory sessions, and give some advice to somebody who may be sitting out there thinking, maybe I could do this, or, but do I know everything, or
Well,
what kind of advice would you give to?
the one advice is that if you decide to adopt a teenager, it's actually more likely to adopt a teenager. Because the reason why I say that is because the teenager, right, might be doing things that isn't helpful, but at the same time, there's someone that he needs. He might be doing that just something that he needs to help. Like, for example, another adoptive parent could come in and change his own life and help him. And the reason why I say that is because you don't know what you could do for a teenager. The teenager might not could express it to you, but at the same time, you're caring for someone else. So, like, how I usually think of it is that you taking someone into your life, right? It's basically this program's like the biggest one, and to me in the world that I very much like is You Gotta Believe. It's like they will help you. They're extremely good with helping you move into process, and I think that since since I heard of them, I was like, my mom my mom is a board of director with you guys, and since I hear her always on a conference call, and I hear everything she says, and I'm like, what is this? So I got introduced to a class, and I went to a class, and they would like me to speak. I was like, all right. So I stepped up and I started speaking, and I feel like it's never too late to age out of foster care. That's how I think. It's never too late to find a family. That if you're a teenager, it's never too late. And that you just have to, the parents just, certain kids, just teenagers, you can't born a teenager. Born little kids, but you can't born teenagers. Teenagers is actually the ones that need help, because the older they get, is more than like how people will just be like, all right, now you have to be homeless, and that's not why we need people to be more people on the street to be homeless. I would say about 20, not even more than 20% of the homeless people were in foster care.
Correct.
And that's why they're right now on the street. So that's why I think that seeing that isn't good, because they do things that might have to get the law involved, and that's not what we want. So everything builds up of feelings. But if you take the child into your home, he'll feel like, even though that didn't go well right now, I think I'm gonna be well. And how I went to the home was, I never got what I wanted. Nobody gets what they wanted in life. But I went to the home and I was like this. I was like, oh, my mouth was like this. And I
When you
couldn't.
first saw your
When
home?
I first saw a home, and I was like, you know what? Let me I didn't want to talk to Valerie. I didn't know her that well, so I kept calling her Miss. Now I call her Mom. Just I had to get used to it. So no,
Takes time.
and actually, kids do test parents, but the reason why kids test their parents is not always because of bad way. It's because they want to see if you really do care for them, and if you really are meaning you care for them. Because
If you're committed.
if you're really like putting your love and heart to them. Because I had certain parents that say that they care for me, and they never did, and that's not okay. You can't lie to a child.
Mm.
So that's why some certain kids will push your limits. You know, of course it's annoying, but
So you know you're annoying when you're doing it?
sometimes yeah, you're right. But anyway, it's not always a bad thing. You can't look at it. You can't think negative of how kids push limits. You always have to think like, you know what? Just sit back, and you know the kids are not. Once again, the kid is not pushing your limits for a bad reason. Sometimes they're doing it to see if you really mean what you say.
They want to see if you're all in.
They want to see if your heart is for them or if it isn't.
That's great advice.
So that's why I feel like teenagers need a family. And once again, it's never too late for a family.
And you're not going to be a teenager forever,
forever.
right?
No, you know, once you hit 18, you're
Right.
an adult. But that doesn't mean you have to extremely get kicked out. You know, it depends how the parent feels, and it depends on, you know, depends on the relationship y'all connect with.
Was it a big change going from living in these group homes where there's tons of
Yeah.
people, and all of a sudden it's just you and Valerie?
Yeah, it's extremely a change. It's actually too big. It was actually too big of a change. So I was like, wow, this is annoying. It's a lot of changing. Just sign the document and just get it over and done with. And you know, I was just losing it. But next thing you know, I thought, oh, I know it'll come if I just leave it alone for a little bit. And I don't know if people are working on it, but now I know that people might be working on it right now. And I'm just being like, hurry up. But right now, someone could be working on it. So let me just give it a chance. And next thing you know, I'll dress up in a suit like I always do and go to school. And I come home and I hear, Michael, April 14th, 2016, you're getting adopted. I'm like, oh, the time has came.
Finally,
Finally.
right?
Yep.
That's really amazing. What do you think is can you think of one thing, one characteristic, or just one thing you think that a person considering bringing a youth from care into their home or into their life, what's the one thing they really need?
Love, to make sure that you really putting your heart out for them. You know, I wouldn't say always like I wouldn't always say like give whatever they want, but make sure that you know they're happy and they're you know, because some kids you don't know the history of them. So either way, understand that you don't know the history, but you could also understand that. Guess what? Just you know, it's just some adults find out before you know we do. Sometimes it's too late to find out, because guess what? The documents are stuck with the state. The state is hard to get the documents from. So, you know, but it's hard.
Did you ever see anybody fight so hard for you as your mom does?
No. Nobody.
She really does.
She
doesn't
she fought very hard, but I never seen nobody that actually opened their mouth and was like, "Can you hurry this up?" Like, really, like, 'cause it's now taking you guys so long to just sign 2 documents. This is how she was over the phone. Like, you guys really can't wait. You guys like hurry up, because you know you guys are taking very long to sign a document, and it's just one document. You can't sign it and send it back to me. And they're like, all right, we'll get to it. 3 weeks later, she calls again, and the next thing you know, they're tired of her phone call, so then they do it. So that's the meaning.
persistence.
That's persistence right there. That means she's pushing and pushing them because she cares about the adoption.
Do you have any advice, maybe a young person who's watching the show who's totally given up on having a family, being part of a family?
I would just maybe stop you right there. Don't ever give up. There's always someone there to help you. So I would say, if you need a family, and if you don't have family, of course there's people there to work work, just, just let it slide. Not let it slide, like, don't care about it, but just make sure that, make sure you find the right person. If that person really does care about you, make sure, you and them get together and push, because, some people will just take days to sign one document. So I would say that, it will be hard, but, at the same time, one day I'll be 95 years old with some gray hair on my head, and I'll come back to this show, and they'll see so you got to believe in there's another kid sitting in the same seat that I was in. And then they announce that tomorrow they're getting adopted. So that's why I say, right now I could be sitting in this seat, but when I'm 95 and I see someone else is sitting in it, I'll be extremely more happy, because I see not only me, but other kids is getting the same chance that I was getting.
You got a big future in front of you, Trey. That much I do know. And, you're a great advocate for other youth, which is
I could spend all day advocating for a little kid.
And we appreciate what you do.
It's my pleasure.
I want to thank Trey, aka Michael, for being my guest today, and remind you that if you are interested, if you've heard something today that has piqued your interest, please give us a call at the office at 718-372-3003. Check out our website, which is yougattabelieve.org. Find out about upcoming orientations. Don't let the barriers stay there. Break them down. Come and enhance your life, having a young man like Michael be part of it. We look forward to hearing from you soon, and we'll see you on the next edition of the Adopting Teens and Tweens Show.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.